Well, welcome everyone to Rockstar Mindset. We're excited to have you here today, and Sarah and I have been working on this all this week, and I'm really excited about the content here. One, because so many of you know that I'm kind of a positive girl anyway, and I think that the more we can pay attention to our mindset, the more we've got to feed our mindset. We've got to take care of it, and so I'm really excited to have you all here today.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I want you all to just take a nice, deep, cleansing breath because you have created space for you. So go ahead and just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Prepare yourself for this next 45 minutes of awesome rockstar mindset, right? You have the control to mute yourself or unmute yourself, and we will be asking for feedback as we go through today, and I really want it. So it isn't the Cami and Sarah show. It's really about all of us in this community of awesome Syzygy circle people, and so definitely feel free to share as you feel like you need to. So go ahead and mute and unmute. So go ahead and let's really think for a second, right? We're gonna just move into this cultivating space, right? And I have a question for you. Do you believe the following statement? Once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it. This is by Steve Maraboli. So just give a little hand raise. You guys have a little hand raise option, or you can just say heck yes, or I don't think so. What do you think? Do you agree? Once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it. I'm seeing some hands raised. Woo-hoo! I love it. Well, I know that I definitely agree, but why? Who can share at least one example that proves this statement is true? Right? Mind, everything changes when it shifts. Let's see. Kristen, are you feeling saucy today?
I am here.
Awesome. So do you agree or disagree?
I totally agree. I think once I kind of wrapped my head around the fact that I can sell the shit out of coffee and people love it, I have been excelling faster than I ever thought I would.
Woohoo! Yeah, you're believing it. I love it. Love it.
Rita, that's and serious.
Hey, that's a good way to be. I love it. Rita, how about you? Would you resemble this comment?
Can you guys hear me okay, or
Yeah.
am I on? Okay, good. Do I agree? Of course I agree. Yes, I absolutely agree. Are you looking for an example?
Please.
I think, it's probably something that all of you have already heard this year in some form or fashion, but, believing that I can make my life through my own company, just kind of getting that whole mindset change and just jumping and leaping. So that, and my life today is just incredibly, I just can't believe it, truthfully. So it's pretty awesome.
Woohoo! Anybody else have a good example that you would like to share with this community?
Lots of raised hands.
I love it, love it. Well, I know that Cami and I both believe that mindset is everything, right? You can change anything. You can question everything, right? You can be brave. You can create solutions. You can learn how to do whatever it is that you need to learn how to do. Right? You can be resilient when mistakes are when they're made, right? And you're going to make them, and that just means that you're moving, and that's awesome, right? You can chase your dreams. You can really change the friggin' world, right? So you can do these things, but you can only do these things if, right, your mind is right, right? You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't believe in you and the magic that you have to bring into the world, you're going to just have that mediocre life. Right? But when your mind is right, you're going to crush all the daily fears that pop up because you know they're going to be coming. Right? When your mind's right, you show up in ways that align with your true passion, your purpose. Right? When your mind is right, you rock the world. Your body goes where your mind lives. You want to rock your purpose, right? You put first things first. So each week, it's your job to find ways to cultivate this massively awesome mindset, right? Because it matters. It matters more than your talents. It matters more than your timing. It matters more than your money. It is absolutely first. It matters more than anything else right now, right? And your mindsets, what are they? Well, they're your beliefs, right? They're your beliefs about you, yourself, your most basic qualities, right? You believe in you and you rock the world, right? You focus on techniques and processes and all of that without the strong mindset to go with it, and all your efforts are going to be off-center, right? A strong mind must come first. It must come first. So I want you to take for a second and look at this model called the See, Do, Get model. And I'll tell you what, when I was introduced to this model, it's been probably just, I don't know, 10 years now, I was just blown away because it's just so simple. It was like, oh my God, it's so true. And I saw this actually in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's amazing because it says, you know, all right, your mindset is massively important for your ability to rock your goals, right? Because your mental creation precedes the physical creation, right? Your imagination is your magic, right? Nature gave us imagination and free will, and with those things, we can choose to see things however we want. Right? And how you see things is going to influence the behaviors or the things that you actually do. And then, of course, the things that you do naturally influence the things that you get. Right? So it's all in how you see things, how you think about them, how you imagine them. Right? So the See, Do, Get model nails this principle. All right. So I have a quick story for you. Viktor Frankl. I'm sure that some of you may have heard of him, right? He was somebody who was brilliant, and he was taken hostage in a Nazi internment camp. And he had the most horrific tests performed on him while he was there. But you know what? Instead of just choosing to believe that he was going to die there and that, you know, this was just the life that he was dealt, he saw himself. While all of this crap was happening to him, he saw himself teaching in a university. He had this strong belief that he was going to get out of there and he was going to be able to use the experiences that were happening to him and actually make better change. His imagination was wild. It was crazy, and it influenced the things that he actually ended up doing, right? So how he saw that, you know, this isn't the end of the world. I am going to move forward. I am going to get out of here. I am going to teach this, then helped him behave in ways that, you know, helped him survive. And then ultimately, yeah, the results, he did teach about it, and he wrote a book that's amazing. Just go and Google Viktor Frankl, and it's amazing. So See, Do, Get, you've got to know. Humans do have the free will to choose their attitude, to choose how they wish to frame things. So what's your choice going to be? Right? What are you seeing today? I hear baby coos. I love it.
Can you remind me how to mute?
You should have a little microphone icon on your screen, and you can just click that.
I'm on the phone, actually.
Is it *7 to unmute, or star 6 maybe? Cami, do you remember?
Who is that? Who's got the baby?
Kristen.
Okay, let me just do that.
There.
I muted you on this end. So just raise your hand when you want to jump on. So now we're going to talk about beliefs. And you're with me. I'm doing my computer in a little bit different way today, so I'm doing some different types of clicks that I need to figure out, so bear with me. Thank you. So beliefs. First I want to talk about, before we get to Walt Disney, I want to talk about Napoleon Hill. If you can conceive something in your mind and believe it to be true, then you can achieve it. So Napoleon Hill said that, right? So if you conceive it, so whatever you can imagine, whatever you can see in your mind's eye, and start to believe that it's true, then you can achieve it. And a great example of this is Walt Disney. When Walt Disney was on his deathbed, he had a friend sitting next to him, and his friend said to him, you know, I'm so sorry, you're not going to get to see the Epcot Center come to fruition. I know you've been working on this, you know, for so long, and it's, you know, I'm really, really sorry you're not going to get to see the Epcot Center. And Walt Disney looked at his friend and he says, I know exactly what the Epcot Center is going to look like. I have been visualizing it every day for 15 years. So he absolutely knew what it was, and he wasn't feeling like he was going to miss anything in the midst of that. And we get to choose our thoughts. So on every single day, we have an average of about 60,000 thoughts per day. It's a lot of thoughts. But here's the deal, guys. 95% of those were the same thoughts that we had yesterday. So I want you to shake them up. I want you to, you know, think about if there's some thoughts that are reoccurring on a regular basis every single day. I want you to shake those up, and I want you to really look for the ones that are positive and start feeding those and start really nurturing those and bringing those forward. So if you're having 60,000 thoughts a day, you're starting to shift how you are approaching those 60,000 thoughts. So if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you're right. So yes, think you can and you will. Think now. Think of a goal that you've recently achieved. Right now, think about that goal that you've recently achieved. What was it? I want you to write it down. Write down 2 words that came up for you when you think about that mindset related to that goal. What words? What kind of descriptors might show up for you? How did you see that challenge? And what were your personal beliefs about that goal? Does anybody want to share? What did you write down?
I see Mynell's on the line. Hey, Mynell, do you have any wisdom to share with us about a goal?
I was just trying to think because nothing came to mind right away except maybe having peace of mind of what I'm doing, which I guess the words that come to mind are obviously peace and comfort and I don't know, a little bit of a settle feeling.
Like a good settle?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, like being comfortable where you're at and kind of trusting in that.
Correct. For right now, yes.
Okay. And you can't. I mean, there is a growth mindset associated with that, right? When you get to that place and you're really happy with where you're at and being in that space, there is some growth associated with that, right? There's growing, there's learning, there's coming into touch with yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else?
I can share one. This is Rita.
Okay.
As part of the journey I'm on, I'm also looking to kind of get some academic growth as well. Mm-hmm. And so a short while back, went through the process of applying to relevant schools, which, for my path, that's not like you can't apply to like every university on earth to do it, so it's a very limited group. And so even just choosing like where I could apply and kind of going through the process of the application process and all of that, like you said, Cammie, that there was a lot of even growth because you're really kind of digging into yourself to really ask yourself questions as I applied for the program. And so that was the goal, was to get into a program. And between like the last few days, I found out that I got into one and I didn't get into the other, but I think the belief that I have about that goal, and Cammie, you kind of said this to me earlier today too, but it's trusting that the one that I got is exactly what I need. and to just go, you know, wholeheartedly into it. So
yeah, yeah,
that's a beautiful mindset. I love that.
Cool.
The perfect one. So let's talk a little bit more about this growth idea. Oh, please do.
Oh, yeah? This is April Lisa.
Hey,
I'm
April
kind of new to this group. Thank you, Cami, for inviting me today.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, so I did a fair where I did like 30 sessions on people in Colorado Springs, and
what kind of sessions?
Came back, healing sessions, healing and readings for people. And I sent my dutiful email out, and you know, and thank you very much. And I asked what would happen if I had a practice in Colorado Springs, because I live in Boulder area. And so I called all those people, and now I have full 2 days of healing. I'm going back again this month, and I'm starting to go back once a month to Colorado Springs. And it's really lovely. I'm really enjoying those people, and I'm stepping out to create another program possibly for women there through another organization that seems to be in alignment with what I do.
That's definitely a growth mindset, right?
Oh, it's huge. And it was just came from that question as, well, what would happen if I called them versus email?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
it
beautiful.
was a big deal. Yeah.
And it is a big deal. When it comes to like calling or emails, it's like so easy to go down the path of an email that can get just lost in the mix of things. Picking up the phone and calling took courage.
Yeah.
And what came back to you, right?
What came back to me is really good, and it's continued to grow. And so I'm following up now. Instead of with an email, I do an email, and then I follow up with a phone call.
Perfect. That's a great.
That's scary, because they could say, like, who are you? Why are you calling me? What are you doing? And if I come to it with an attitude of curiosity about them and how they are doing after they've had a session or a mini session, and just leave it at that, leave it pretty open, and let it go where it needs to go. But it's just making the connection.
Awesome.
I love that. And it's so authentically probably you, right? It just feels the right thing. I'm not trying to be a salesperson. I'm not trying to make money. I'm really genuinely interested. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit more about this idea of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Right? Our minds are always moving, right? It's like this pendulum. Sometimes we can be totally in growth mode, positivity, rock star status, and then all of a sudden, before we know it, we're in like this warped perception of reality, right? Where we're like fixed on all this wacky stuff. So in a fixed mindset, people believe that their basic qualities, like their intelligence or their talents, are just simply fixed traits, right? They spend their time documenting their intelligence or their talent instead of like living into them, right, and developing them, right? They also believe that their talent alone creates success without effort, right? And they're just wrong. Right? Instead, the growth mindset people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Right? Brains and talent are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning. Right? What have you learned recently? Something fun, I hope. Right? It's resilience. And those are things that are essential for great accomplishment. Right? Virtually all great people have these qualities. So in growth mode, you embrace challenges. You keep going when it gets tough, because it does, right? You see effort as the path to mastery, and that doesn't always feel really great, but it's the thing that's necessary, right? You learn from criticism or feedback that people are giving you. You learn from and find inspiration and success, or excuse me, from the success of others. In that crappy old fix mode, you avoid stuff, right? You sabotage yourself. You give up easily. You see effort as a wasted time. You ignore criticism, and you feel threatened by the success of others, right? This is scarcity mentality. So where do you think you land on most days? Right? Are you growth or are you fixed? Okay. The cool part, right? This is the winner, you know, beef for dinner kind of a thing. You get to choose every single day, right? You can choose a limiting mindset or an empowering mindset because you have that free will and, of course, that wild, awesome imagination, right? So now I want you to consider, What is one special goal or intention that you have in your life right now? Right? I want you to pick the biggest, the gnarliest, the big, hairy, audacious one that's out there, right? The BHAGs. Now, I want you to think about crossing that finish line. Right? Think about crushing this goal. Now, what kind of beliefs are you going to need in order to rock it? Now, here are a couple that you might resonate with. So we're just going to flip through. Jot down anything that goes, oh yeah, that speaks to me, right? You have the power to choose that it may be difficult, but it's possible, or it's maybe possible, but it's going to be way too difficult, right? Rockstar minds believe that their dreams are possible, even when they recognize that it might be a rough road to get there, right? So the question for you, how would you behave if you knew your big dream was totally possible? Now, you have the power to choose to believe that you can figure anything out, that you are good enough. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm not any good at this, you could rise above and say, well, what am I missing? I know there's something and I'm going to figure it out. Right? How would you believe, or how would you behave if you knew that your talents and gifts would guide you through the roughest of challenges? Right? Let's look at another one. I believe that you have the power to choose to see the gain or to see the pain, right? I was in hot yoga the other day and I was like, oh my God, the pain. And I was like, no, 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 no. Instead of giving up, just breathe, right? See the gain. Right? You can totally do this, right? Rockstar minds believe that the gain is so worth the pain. So how would you behave if you knew that the pain would pay off? And finally, we have one more for you. You have the power to choose to see the problems, all the crap, all the reasons why it shouldn't be done or can't be done, right? Or you could see possibility, right? There are so many things that could happen. Rockstar minds believe that all problems have solutions, right? The possibilities are endless. So how would you behave if you knew that all problems have real solutions, and you can dream them up, right? It's not going to take anybody else. You've got it, right? You can think success, or you can think frustration, right? You can show true grit, or you can choose to be helpless, right? It's your choice. So think of your performance over the past week. What percentage of the time were you living in a growth mindset? Give yourself kind of a score of 1 to 10. 1 was I was living in kind of, crapo land, and 10 was you were nailing it. Who can share? I know I probably was maybe at a 6, right? Because it's a daily thing, right? Sometimes it goes off to the pendulum of the wrong side, but then it's about noticing and coming back. Anybody want to share? Did it meet your expectations?
Sure, Sarah, I'll share.
Do it, thank you.
So I would say that I was probably a 5. Like, I think that there were some days where it was kind of up and down. So days where I knew that I was on track and thinking of what I wanted to do and how I was going to get there. And then there were other days where it was like I didn't even want to think about it or talk about it at all. So yeah, I think that there's balance there.
It's like a muscle, right? We've got to flex it, because it can easily go in, the not so happy direction. It just takes that commitment, right? Today, I think one of the biggest messages is about commitment, right? Commitment to, hey, when I notice I'm off, I'm moving right back over, right? Instead of thinking impossible, I am totally able to rock this stuff, right? So you've got to look at how you're seeing the world, right? If you were happy with your result, your number, cool. Identify what that abundance mindset, fuels you, or how it fuels you. What were you thinking? Live into those things more and throw some gas on them. All right.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to think about 2016 and what you want to do to live into your purpose, into why you're here on this earth, into your gifts. Think about that for a moment. What are some of the positive beliefs you're going to need to stick with to rock 2016. So I'll give you an example of mine. One of the things one of the things that I'm wanting to do a lot more of, and I know you guys have seen me doing this last year, is speaking more. And I need to be speaking lots next year. I'm launching my book. I need to be out. I need to be rocking it from the stage, right? And so I have to believe, one, that I can connect to the people from the stage. And I have to believe that my presence and when I get on the stage is really going to touch people. It's going to make a difference. It's going to change their lives. And I'm going to need to keep my commitments to continuing to grow in this area, because that's an area that it's always been a harder area for me. So I need to be looking at 2016 and saying, where am I going to be building on this? Where am I going to get this practice? How am I going to keep doing this? Sarah, do you want to share something about yours?
Heck yeah. For me, it's a really easy thing. It's a mantra, a belief that I am so worth the investment that my clients make, right? And that millennials have money, right? Yeah. My target audience, they're millennials, right? They're young professionals. And a lot of people are like, oh, they can never afford coaching. It's not for them. But that's bullshit. Right? I think that's total bullshit. And I find myself like, oh, maybe I need to lower my prices, or maybe I need to get a discount, or, you know, all this crap. It's like, Jesus, Sarah, wake up. You are so worth it. Right? So it's that commitment all the time of saying, all right, I know that I've got it. My intuition is strong. I've got massive value to bring, and my clients, my ideal clients, are waiting to bring me money.
Right. Good. That's an awesome one. So, for each of you out there, I want you to go back to that important goal, right, that you were just thinking about, that important goal for success in 2016. And I want you to think about all the beliefs that support you in this area right now. And this is empowering beliefs, things that, you know, we're talking about empowering beliefs. I can do this. I can get on the stage. I can speak. I can connect to the people that are out there. Those are empowering beliefs, right? I believe I'm doing the work I'm supposed to be doing in this world. I know I'm making a difference. So those are empowering beliefs. I want you to write 1 to 2 most empowering beliefs. How do these beliefs empower you? How do they strengthen your life? Write down 1 to 2 most empowering beliefs about that goal.
Something to consider is if you're having a hard time thinking of a belief, you might want to tap into the things that give you a little bit of a heartburn, you know, the thing that the inner critic might be telling you, and then just flip the script. Instead of, I'm not smart enough, I am so frickin' smart, right? So turn that language around.
Does anybody want to share a couple of empowering beliefs? Share what your goal is and then what the empowering belief is.
Now say by putting it out there, you're making it even more real, giving it a voice, sharing it in this community. It'll feel good.
How about you, Colleen? We haven't heard from you. Although you're muted on your end.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Okay, good.
Yeah, you're good now.
Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi. Yeah, I was just thinking through my beliefs and thinking about, I have a few goals on 2016, but one of which is making AccuSuite a successful business with a real gain in brand. And, you know, a really big, broad one of, you know, being the woman I'm meant to be and being a model of living my passions while making a difference for others. And my beliefs, to your point, Sarah, about, because immediately what comes to mind are my barriers. So turning that around into beliefs is important. And, you know, that I know I will, my talents are what's needed to make this company successful. I know that I'm excited about living, being a role model of living passions, and that excitement is going to carry through and influence others. I know that I am making changes, and it was a big one to resign from my day job. That's just
what? Sarah didn't know this.
Congratulations! Oh my God! I bet that was like the coolest thing and scariest thing ever.
It is. It absolutely is. Yes, and that was a huge step. So I know I can make, and I will make more changes in my day-to-day of how I spend my time and where I put my energy. That's going to make these goals possible.
So how does it feel when you're saying that?
Ugh, I get all warm and excited. Just
yes.
Yes.
And that's it. It's saying it all, you know, putting these in your and embodying them and connecting to them and saying them. There's so much strength in that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It makes a huge difference than just writing it down.
Right.
I mean, I literally feel the blood going in my body as I talk about it.
Good. It's that pumping, right? It's like it kind of surges through your body in a different way.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who else would like to share one?
Okay, I'll step up just because I need to.
Okay, awesome.
So this is April Lisa. Yeah. So I really want to see wise women, my program for women to come home to themselves, come home to you, within the body and reclaiming their bodies and the dominion that they have over their own bodies as a friend instead of an enemy. I want to create that program. I want to rock it so well that I go back to Europe next year and teach. I already know I want to teach in 2 different countries and have contacts there that may be able to make it happen, as well as developing more of for me, just more courage to step out, you know, come out of my shell this year. So to share it, because here are my 2 beliefs. I can create massive positive change in a woman's life with what I bring to the table. And my other belief is I can see what they can't, and so I'm a guide back to them.
Yep.
And those are my 2 things I'm standing on.
And how does it feel when you say those?
Oh, it just feels fine. It feels fine. It feels good. It feels at home. My scaredness is I want to bring in more art and creativity and improvisation and storytelling to all that process. And so I'm working on the belief that that will be juicy and enlivening and attractive rather than, what do she think she's doing?
Right. Right. And that's that's a really good example of where I want everybody to go next. You've got those little ones in the background, right, that are saying, what does she think she's doing, right? So those are limiting beliefs. And so for all of you right now, what I'd like you to do, and thank you, April Lisa, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. What I'd like all of you to do is jot down a couple of limiting beliefs that are showing up for you, just like April Lisa said, that, gosh, what does she think she's doing? Or she's, you know, whatever voice is showing up, that inner critic back there going, and I want you to write those down. What's that inner critic saying to you? Those limiting beliefs.
I know one of mine, Cammie, is that you can't balance it all. You can't be a mama and a lady boss and a rock star coach and all of that at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Mine has been, oh, you're not very good as a public speaker, right? That's just not your thing. And so that was one that I had there, and I've had to really work on changing that. So and I want you to think about, as you've written these down, I've circled the 1 to 2 most limiting beliefs that you've got on your list. And I want you to think about the consequences these beliefs, these limiting beliefs, are going to have in your life. How are they impacting your life? How are they restricting you? What kind of boundaries are they showing up for you? I want you to feel the pain of how they're keeping you from having the life you really want. What are those limiting beliefs, and what's that pain feel like inside of you when you look at that? And what will it ultimately cost you if you don't change this belief? What's it keeping you from moving toward? And how is this belief ridiculous?
I love that question.
I do too. And is the person you learn this belief from, is the person that you learn this belief from worth modeling in this area? Because perhaps there was somebody that once told you something, right? And do they have the kind of life that you really want? Does that person that once told you that, do they have the life that you really want? So who would like to share some of the limiting beliefs that you wrote down?
I'll go.
Okay,
it's just too fun and silly. It's just not serious enough.
Ah.
Bringing in the improv and movement and, doing the fun stuff.
Okay.
And the other one is you can't have that. You can't have success.
Yeah.
That's not for you.
Yeah.
And that comes from an evil sister.
Okay.
Okay. I won't go into details, but some of you might have one.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be switching these, by the way. I'm not going to let you guys hang in these too long. Who else would like to share one?
I'll share mine. It's about money.
Okay. That's a lot of people get that one, right?
Yeah, not going to have enough, or it's going to be uncertain for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a good one. So what I want you to do now is I want you, one, to decide that you're no longer willing to have the consequences that this belief is causing in your life. You're going to shut this down. And I want you to write a replacement belief for the two limiting beliefs that you circled. So you're changing that around. What would you have to believe in order to succeed and achieve that goal? Who's already successful in this area? And what do you believe that's helping them succeed? What is necessary to believe in order to succeed? Your beliefs have the potential to create or to destroy. They can tremendously empower you, or they can severely limit you. The good news is you get to choose which beliefs to put effort into. Do you agree with that? How did it feel to rewrite some of those?
Is that the same?
What?
I just had a thought, and it's like, is that the same as saying which wolf are you going to feed?
Absolutely. I love that one. Is you can feed the good wolf or the bad wolf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great connection.
So does anybody want to share the one that they switched around? What you changed it to? Kristen, let me, I saw your hand pop up. You're unmuted now.
Okay, so the one thing that came up for me is I've always had this, I guess before I started really diving into this, is I've had this belief that my business is just going to plateau. Nobody's going to want to have, coffee year-round or my product year-round. So I'm going to have these high points and these low points, but for the most part, I felt like it was just going to plateau. And so I I changed into my business is going to continue to grow because I have and I make great and awesome products that everybody wants and is wanting.
Yeah, and we want it, believe us. We love your product.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so switching that around, but is it going to be continuing growing? There's a curve there, right? You can even visualize it.
Oh, yeah. And it's just kind of going back to, I'm not sure who had mentioned when they said it out loud, just how it felt. It just switching it around and just saying out loud, not just writing it down, but actually saying it. It feels good. It really makes me feel like my blood is pumping, and I believe it. There's some definitely more value to it when I can actually say it out loud that I've got something that people want, and I'm gonna just keep growing it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Awesome.
it. You know, something that just popped in my mind is that if you guys are needing an extra little step, take your phone and video yourself saying these empowering, awesome growth beliefs, right? Just like put it out there, record it, and then when you're having a really craptastic day, like play that back at yourself, right? Be your best mentor.
Right.
Via video.
I love that. So really, this is about seeing your world through a different lens. It's about taking the time, noticing when these thoughts are coming up, catching yourself, and changing the language that you're using. And start to see it differently. You start to feel it differently. It's not just the words coming out of your mouth. There's something that you embody differently. So we're going to talk about 4 tips to cultivate your rockstar mindset. So get your pens ready. We've got 4 terrific tips here to help you master your mindset. Ready for number 1? Yet. So who got to see the video that we told you to watch before this session?
I did, and it was great.
It was a Sesame Street video, for those of you who didn't watch it. And it's the Power of Yet song on the classic Sesame Street. So so who was it that said they watched it?
That's Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. So what stood out as you watched this video?
I'm sorry?
What stood out for you as you watched the video?
It's just changing. It's going back to that mindset. It's changing the mindset. It's not that I didn't do it, I couldn't do it. It's that I just didn't do it yet. That there's still a chance, there's still a possibility to exceed and overcome that challenge.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the power of yet. So you may not know all the answers to how you're going to crush your 2016 goals, how you're going to get to where you want to go yet, but you will. So you think at that goal. There's things you may not know yet, but you will. It's a matter of just working at it. You're tapping into your intuition, your strengths, your talents, your inner awesomeness. The answers are all there. So why is the power of yet so important to your mindset? Because it shows that anything is possible. You don't know how to do it yet, but you can learn. You haven't you haven't got to where you want to be, but you can learn. Remember this always. Yet is super, super powerful. So consider how you can weave the power of yet into your mindset. What is an area of yet that you need to focus on? So my yet is I haven't launched my book yet, but I'm sure working hard on it right now. I'm finishing up the final editings of that. I don't know all of the things about doing the final edits on a book yet, but I will know. I can tell you that within the next month. So that's my yet.
Yes, yes. And I'm not rocking keynote stages yet, baby. But I'm sure as hell preparing for the day to come because it is coming.
Yes.
Right? What's your yet?
So good old Albert Einstein quote here, right? It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. So strong mindsets allow you to stay committed to your big desires. They give you stamina. They give you energy. They give you more imagination. You know you'll find a solution if you stay with the problem. You just haven't gotten there yet. You need to see the possibility of a new future. So there's tip number 1. How about you, Sarah? Take us into tip number 2.
I love tip number 2, and we've already been talking quite a bit about it, right? And this is just saying I'm going to let go of the fear, or I'm going to replace the fear with the curiosity, right? So it kind of takes yet to the next step. I don't know it yet, but I wonder what in the heck could happen if I did it this way, right? You are going to adopt a curiosity mindset whenever fear starts to creep in. Right? So you're going to think about the possibilities. You're going to think about, well, I wonder what a new way could look like. Right? I wonder what amazing things might happen if. Right? If I choose to listen to my inner mentor instead of my inner critic. Right? If I choose to just move into imperfect action versus obsessing about all of the things that have to be just right. Right? You've got to believe that curiosity is going to help you find new solutions. You're going to be a learning warrior, right? Because sometimes when you don't know, it just means you got to learn, right? So you've got to be curious. Remain open to learning. And of course, we're bringing Einstein back for a second slide. Are you ready for him? Because of course he's brilliant, right? Ready for it? He rocks. Says, I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious, right? The guy that is just regarded by, many, many, many people as like a rock star, total genius. He was like, nah, I just believed in possibility, right? I was curious and I tried things, right? So whatever you dream, you can achieve. Be curious. The answers will come, right? And remember, don't just be curious with a purpose, right? Consider today, right now, what aspects in your life do you need to be more curious? Right? Again, look in those places where you might be feeling a little bit of fear. Right? Believe intelligence can be developed. Right? You need to see what your imagination has to offer. Right? So that's tip number 2. Curiosity, let it flow. Tip number 3, right? Risk. Right? Through your curiosity, you might have to deal with a really wild idea that pops into your brain, and you're going to go, oh my God, that's a risky idea. And then you're going to have that moment of choice of, oh my God, am I going to actually move with this idea and believe and trust in the stuff that's coming up for me? Or am I going to let fear guide me? Right? Taking risks can be great for developing that strong mindset. Right? This is the whole idea of thinking outside of the box. And if you do it, you might fail. But you really could have something amazing happen. Right? So what? You might fall. You might fail. Whatever. Risks can bring huge rewards even through the failure. Right? Why? Well, because you're going to be learning, of course. Failing is another word for growing. Right? So consider right now the best learning experience you've ever had in your life. I'd bet for some of you that it didn't come easily. Right? Some of the things that stick with you the longest and the hardest are some of the hardest lessons that you had to learn. That's why they stick. Right? That's why they touch you at the freaking core, right? So what stands out for you when you think of risk? Well, you took the risk. It may have worked out. Maybe it didn't. Either way, you've gained valuable experience, right? And it changed you for the better. So today, consider what's your relationship to risk right now? How can you pump up the volume a bit? What's a risk that you really need to take? And then give yourself a little bit of and be okay with learning through failure if your risk turns out differently than you thought that it might. Oftentimes, the bigger the risk, the sweeter the reward, right? You've heard that a billion times. What's it going to take for you to actually do it today? Right? So Cammie and I starting our own, coaching, being our own bosses, that's a huge risk. And yeah, I've failed already, but there's stuff that I've really rocked, and I've learned from those failures, right? So you need to see risk as your BFF. Right?
And even just to add on to that a little bit is that when you take that risk, the path may not go exactly like you anticipated, but it's exactly, kind of what we were talking about earlier, it's exactly the way it was supposed to go, and trust in that process. Because if you're stepping out into risk, you're growing, you're expanding, new things are coming your way, and what is supposed to unfold for you is going to be there if you are doing your work to keep you going there. So tip number 4, reflecting about your thinking every single day. I want you to wake up in the morning when you go to bed at night, many times during the day, think about your thinking. That, those 60,000 thoughts that you've been having. Reflect on your mindset. Think about it with your head and also with your heart. Look in the mirror. See what are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Strong mindsets have to be worked like a muscle. What's working? What's not? Are you hearing repetitive negative thoughts? Start to shift those. Start to practice changing those thoughts and changing them into a different type of, so that they're really empowering thoughts. And so what are you going to do about it? So think about that for a moment. How are you going to keep that muscle flexed and keep touching back into that? And as you think about thinking, consider any excuses that you've been making justifying not to do the work you need to do to get the results you want. Be stronger than your excuses today, tomorrow, every day. Each day is a choice. For me, I find that I'm really great about making excuses about going out on a walk every day. I see the value in doing it. I want to do it daily, but I make excuses about, oh, I'm too busy. It's too cold. Oh, I don't want to agitate my back. The list just goes on, and why I let this happen, I justify until I die, right? I am very good at saying, well, here's a reason why I'm not going to do it. It's really annoying. So what? So think now what? What are you going to do about it? The thing you'll do, you'll make a different choice today. Yesterday's gone. It doesn't matter. Live in the now and be strong. So just learn from this looking forward. And consider what's an excuse that you've made in the past week. Why did you buy into it? What would be one thing that you can do to help shift that excuse and change and move out of it? Manage the impulses. Put in the time no matter the circumstances. Get an accountability partner. Get real in your truest desires and see that the results won't come until you believe that you can and you do. So don't just really start to make that change. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things that you once thought you couldn't do. And at the end of each day, point out one or two things that you loved about the mindset and how it influenced what you did and how you moved off of your didn't. Instead, focus on the good. See the good. Consider that you were born for this. You can do this. You must be persistent, be stronger than your excuses, and stay loyal to your desires. So we're going to look back quickly over those 4 tips. Here they are for keeping a rockstar mindset. Believe in the power of yet. Be passionately curious. Take risks. You'll learn no matter the outcome. Think about your thinking every damn day. Get real with yourself. Up the ante. What would you add to these tips? What helps you stay strong in the mind?
Lay it out there, ladies.
That's right. So which step have you reached today? I won't do it. I can't do it. I want to do it. How do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. Yes, I did it.
That's right.
So, as you know, we always recommend a TED Talk at the end of these. This is a great one. I invite you to watch this TED Talk by Sean Anker. He talks about how the positive brain links to a high performance. Not only does he tell a lot of great funny stories in this, he really gets to the heart of why positive thinking is so important for us right now. Research that Anker quotes here is that we're 31% more productive when we are in a positive frame of mind. And for those of you in business, 37% better at sales if we're in a positive frame of mind. So if you're closing sales, be in that positive frame of mind, right? And I want you to think about right now, given the amount of news that we have that is so negative these days, and it's important for you even more than ever to exercise our brains in positivity. the lens in which we look and we view the world shapes us. It impacts us. And not only does it shape us and impact us, it also shapes, we can shift at what's happening in the world by bringing positive energy, by looking how we resonate in the world. And so we can move forward in what we're trying to bring out into the world in a much quicker way if we are staying in that positive mindset. So this is a great video to watch. So take a good 12 minutes, I think it is, to watch it and really kind of soak in what he adds.
Yes, and he's funny. He talks about his sister being a unicorn, which I think is hilarious.
That's my best part about that whole video is the unicorn sister.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, so we are done with dropping mad wisdom today about mindset, and we want you to just really get excited about what's to come next. Right, Cami, why don't you tell us just a little bit about this Best Year Ever business, because I think it's amazing.
So this is a 2-hour webinar training, online training that I'm going to do on December 29th, and it's all about getting clear about what you want to make happen in 2016, and it's about really upping the ante and how you're acting and stepping into the year. So it's a great workshop. Feel free to invite a friend. You can sign up with this link here. It's also out on the client, the Syzygy client circle if you haven't found it. The link was broke yesterday, but it is back working today. Apparently it was a Google Documents broke yesterday. So there was something larger than me that was broken on that one.
Right.
But you
and
can
it's free, isn't it?
Now. It is free.
So definitely bring all your friends.
That's right. It's a great way to kick off the year, and I did it the week before the new year starts, so it's a perfect timing to really think about what you want to be making happen in 2016.
Excellent. Bring your mindsets right into that content.
That's right.
Cool. And January, we've got some awesome stuff happening. Obviously, we've got our next topic, and it's one that I absolutely love, right? If you've been a part of my Epic Shit Challenge or my Rock Doc or any of the programs recently, it's all about the 4 core, right? And it's just this idea that if you really want to be rock star, it's got to take cultivating the mind that we've talked about, but we'll give you some practical tips on how you actually do that. We'll talk about body, right? We'll talk about your spirit. Sometimes, like in business, actually, that can be a dirty word. We don't think so. We think it's amazing. And, of course, your relationships. So we're going to look at the 4 core and really get strong about the things that we want to have happen to be strong in the core. It's on the 11th, same bat time, same bat station. And I think that those are the 2 big dates that you need to know in the next couple of weeks. And, if you're a social person, we encourage you to share the wisdom, right? It's not just about hoarding it for yourself. It's about putting it out there and sharing your celebrations, right, the things that you're doing really well. And so if you're a hashtag kind of a person, you Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, whatever, just use the hashtag WeBeJammin' if you can, just drop some really great content for the people that follow you because, yeah, we're making a huge ripple, and I want you to be a part of it.
Right.
So get social. Jam on. And I think with that, Cami, are we ready to wrap up?
I think we are. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Totally appreciate it. And have a happy holiday, and we will be seeing you around social media, if not on the phone. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Cami and Sarah.
Thank you, guys.
You bet. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.